Are you guys wondering what the best time to watch the WaterWorld show at Universal Studios Hollywood is? Well, listen till the end, and I'll tell you exactly the best time to go watch the show. This review is to talk about the show times at the WaterWorld show at Universal Studios Hollywood, which I just got done visiting. And this is one of the most amazing shows at the park. So I highly suggest you go watch this, because there's a ton of stunts, a ton of explosions, and a ton of excitement. So let's get into it. Typical show times, there's about 3 to 5 during the day, and this really depends on the season and the crowd levels. So usually you have to go through their app and kind of check when the times are, but usually the first show is around 11 a.m. and the last show is typically around 5 p.m. And during peak seasons, usually they kind of change the times around. So like I mentioned, you gotta go check the app and go check out the show times. So there's a few factors affecting the show times. First is the seasonal variations. During peak seasons such as summer, holidays, spring break, the show times tend to increase in frequency to handle the larger crowds. On quieter weekdays or off peaks, they just kind of spread out the shows based on the crowds. The park operating hours, since Universal Studios Hollywood closes around 10 p.m. throughout the year, WaterWorld show times adapt accordingly. During longer operating hours, you'll find more afternoon shows, while shorter days might limit you to only 3 performances. So make sure you go to Universal Studios Hollywood at the right time of the year. So special events and weather, usually they will cancel due to weather conditions. However, it's in Hollywood and it's always sunny, right? So in my opinion, the best time to watch is in the early afternoon. This usually gives a good visual and the sun's kind of in the background, so it's a great time to go watch the show. And also by then the park is fully open and crowds have kind of gone around the park and most people are riding the rides. There's also midday. If you're aiming to avoid the crowds or prefer to see the show a little earlier, the first showing is around 11 a.m. and this usually is less crowded, especially on the weekdays. However, weekends can get pretty crowded. I went on a weekday, so it wasn't very crowded for me, but I really enjoyed the show. Some really good tips planning around the show times. First thing is arrive early. WaterWorld show is really popular and it gets really packed, so arriving 15 to 30 minutes early is definitely advisable. Also, check the park app. They have a Universal Studios Hollywood app that provides real-time show times and updates, especially when there's any inclement weather. And this also makes it easier to plan out your day. It's highly recommended to download the app, so make sure you go download the app so you can see all the show times. The peak times obviously are during the weekends, summer, and holidays, and you actually have to wait for the show. It's that popular. So make sure you don't miss out on the show and you plan accordingly. Also, seats in the shade tend to fill up a little quicker, so make sure you go and get there a little earlier. Overall, it's a must-see show, and just make sure you get there a little early so you can enjoy the show.